Penis size. Does it really matter? Hi, my name is Nicole, and today I really want to talk about penis sizes and, to be more specific, homosexual versus heterosexual penis sizes and how they compare. I was reading a blog titled Sex and Psychology by Dr. Justin Lehmiller, and one of the posts was titled, "Do Gay Men Have Bigger Penises?" Within his post, Lehmiller used Dr. Alfred Kinsey and the Kinsey Institute 1938 to 1963 study of straight male and gay male penis sizes. And the results did show that gay male penises were statistically larger than straight male penises. But let's back up. First of all, who is Dr. Justin Lehmiller? Dr. Justin Lehmiller is a 21st century sexologist who received his PhD in social psychology from Purdue, and since his indoctorate has published over 30 pieces of academic writing that are within the sexology field. What makes him so interesting, especially to me, is that his fields of focus, his fields of study, include casual sex, sexual fantasy, sexual health, and friends with benefits. Basically, he's kind of like the hookup doctor. He's been cited in the New York Times, Washington Post, and has made numerous radio, television appearances, all talking about sex. But back to the post. So, Lehmiller, within his post, talked about some things that weren't as clearly defined in Alfred Kinsey's study. For example, he talked about information that was gathered from the study that actually could not be as accurate as hoped because of self-measurement, which could lead to exaggeration of sizes by the participants of the Alfred Kinsey study. Lehmiller also talked about how there was a possibility that the gay male participants were just more aroused during the study than the straight male participant. Either way, I wanted to get down to the bottom of these facts. So, I researched Alfred Kinsey and his study, and I found that yes, out of the males that he did interview and were self-measured, that the male penis sizes for straight males were an average of 6.14 inches long and 4.8 inches around, as compared to gay male penises that measured 6.46 inches long and 4.95 inches around. But who is Alfred Kinsey? Well, Alfred Kinsey is an American biologist who founded the Sex Research Institute at Indiana University, also known as the Kinsey Institute. He also publicized the well-renowned novels Sexual Behavior in Human Males in 1948 and The Sexual Behavior in Human Females in 1953. These two novels were known combined as the Kinsey Report. He was groundbreaking in the types of research that he did and the types of myths he debunked, like about masturbation, about different sex positions, about female pleasure. Basically, he turned the sex world upside down in terms of research. But I have to agree with Lehmiller. How Kinsey found this type of information could have been fabricated. Granted, he put all his trust and reliance in his patients and his participants, but there's also the chance that they could be looking to be the norm. And for those who measured out themselves, they could possibly, give themselves a little extra nudge to feel better than the average. The last point that Lehmiller said was due to the findings' relevance. The Kinsey reports were over 50 years ago, and there hasn't been a study since that compared gay male penises to straight male penises and what that means for people and how they feel about their own penis sizes. So I decided to do a little research. More specifically, I conducted a small sample study on whether the information of gay male penises being larger than straight male penises actually really affected people nowadays. I decided to be a sexologist for 48 hours. To find these out, I asked or developed two questions. Does size matter? And does knowing that statistically gay male penises are larger than straight male penises affect how you view penis size in general? Using Snapchat and just in-person asking, I went to each one of my participants and asked them, out of these 4 answers, how do you feel about this statement? Penis size matters. The 4 answers they could choose from was strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. After giving an answer for the first question, I then presented them with the information that the Kinsey study showed, which was that gay male penises were found to be larger than straight male penises. After giving this information, I asked them, did their opinion on size matters change? All the participants that I had were ages between 20 and 24, and almost all of them were people that I knew. Now that might seem less random or less statistically accurate, but I found that people were more willing to be honest with me about how they felt because they knew me. However, I did let them know that any answer that they gave and or their identity would be completely confidential, and that this was a voluntary study in which some people actually did say, no, I don't want to answer this question. And that was perfectly fine. My findings were as follows. To the question, does size matter? 7 out of 21 strongly agreed that size matters. 20 out of 31 agreed that size matters. 4 out of 31 people disagreed that size matters. And nobody strongly disagreed that size matters. So to conclude, a vast majority of the people that I did interview did say that to some degree, having a bigger penis is pretty important. What was surprising though was that after I gave the information of a gay male's penises being larger than a straight male penises, none of them really seemed to change their opinion on this size matter. As a point of clarification, I asked both male and female, straight and gay participants with 15 male and 16 female, 2 in each category identifying themselves as homosexual. What I found so interesting was for so many of the participants, dick size really mattered. So the fact that the majority of them, well, all of them said that it doesn't matter that a gay male penis is larger than a straight male penis was interesting. I was looking for any reaction out of the straight males, maybe saying that they felt a little bit more inferior, so maybe dick size didn't matter as much since they are statistically seen as smaller than the gay male's penis, and maybe the female straight participants might look at their male partners and wonder, is because your penis size is as large and or small than average, that maybe they're on the DL, or maybe they just don't compare, they should be bigger. But no, nobody seemed to care whether it was gay males, straight males, gay females, straight females. No one really found this study, this information, applicable to their lives. And I think that's part of what Lehmiller was getting at. That yes, this information is out there. However, if it's not applicable, then it's just facts. It's just numbers. It doesn't really impact anybody's lives to any degree. So to conclude, yes, size matters, but it's also about the motion in the ocean, about knowing what to do with it, and just the emotional connection that you have with your partner. And that's what I found from my study. That's what I personally believe. And that's what my study has showed. Science is interesting and also kind of sexy.